Let's talk about stacking firewood. Everybody knows you need dry firewood in order to build a fire. Stacking it is something that should come naturally, but there's a lot more to it than you might think. A lot of people will stack their firewood, say, up alongside their house. That may work okay. My wife wouldn't be a big fan of that, just because where you have stacks of firewood, you also have bugs, spiders, insects, all sorts of creepy crawlies that like to live out in your wood. So what I've adapted, this will work if you have a little bit of property with some trees. This is a picnic area that we have, and so we use this firewood mostly for campfires, roasting marshmallows and hot dogs and such. But here I've used my firewood stacking method. So you have a couple of trees. If you've stacked firewood, you know that it likes to spread, and that makes it difficult to keep it in a stack. If you use the firewood, or if you use the trees as bookends for your firewood, you can stack it in there and it won't go anywhere. Here I've actually been able to do 2 stacks. You can see I've got a stack between those 2 trees, and then as we move out, I've got a stack between the next 2 trees. If we turn over here, here's a stack. Gives you a great idea. This gives you a great idea of how I've actually stacked my firewood. So that's an old bike rack that I made a long time ago that we no longer use, but it is perfect for keeping your firewood up off the ground. If you don't have an old bike rack laying around, a couple of logs across the bottom will do the same thing. Then you just start stacking it. You can see the trees keep everything from falling off the edges. I've got a nice stack. It's very sturdy. It's not going anywhere. The other thing that I do, sometimes I come out here and camp in the winter. And so winter is bad because you have snow that melts and freezes and melts and freezes, and when it melts it gets stuff wet. So we happen to have some old OSB laying around. I just put that right on top. It won't keep it perfectly dry, but it'll keep the majority of the water off of it. And that's how I stack firewood. Click the link for the next skill.